I keep my goals to myself, cause whenever I share with folks, they get a look upon their face and their memory floats to a time where their goals and the stars
returned during the main event of the show, which was Trick Williams versus Carmelo Hayes, non-title. So he's back. Baron Corbin has been gone from WWE for about a little over a year. I can't remember when he was actually released. I want to say, was it late 2024 or early 2025? I don't really know which. I can't remember. But he's back, so that's good there. We're going to definitely get Gunther versus Nick Aldis after what happened on SmackDown. Gunther choked out Nick Aldis not once but twice and put him to sleep. So, there's that. So we are getting that match at SummerSlam for sure. And CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, that match is official for SummerSlam. And they're calling that the main event. So that's fine there. So I don't know how this is all going to play out for SummerSlam, because you're basically giving us a triple main event with Brock and Oba in Hell in a Cell, Roman Rollins, and Punk Rhodes. Right? So I don't know. I don't know how all this is going to play out across 2 nights of SummerSlam again. And the tickets for SummerSlam are not doing well, especially for night one. I think night one has like 22,000 something. And the venue that they're doing it in can hold, I think, is it 27 or 29K? So they're short by about almost 7,000 tickets. But then again, I think a large part of that comes with the economy also, right? So it's not just the on-screen product, it's also the economy. And I really want to let this be known. The people who are going to these shows now are people who have money to burn. These are people who probably own their own businesses. These are people who are in decent tech positions. These are people who are in decent medical positions. Like, these are not just your average, everyday, 9-to-5 Americans. You may work at a bank somewhere, or you might be doing warehouse work, 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, or whatever. It's not those type of people that are going to these shows, right? These people have money to burn. So I just wanted to mention that. These are people who have actual money at their disposal that can afford these high-priced shows. Because Mark Shapiro and Ari Emanuel, they don't give a fuck about wrestling fans. The average, everyday wrestling fan, they don't care about us at all, period. They only care about, the fan who has the actual money to go to these shows, right? So, there's that. But, maybe things will pick up. We got basically 3 weeks until SummerSlam. I think on the AEW front, they're not doing too well for All In. And All In's in late August, and they're not doing too well, ticket-wise. So, there's that. I do think that if SummerSlam was later on in August, like maybe around the mid part of August, I think it might do better, right? Because that's one thing that I hate, is that they're doing SummerSlam early. And I get you don't want to go head-to-head with AEW. That's more so NXT's job, not main roster, basically. But I feel that it would be better if SummerSlam was later on in August. I would say maybe like 2 weeks before All In. But, there's that. I mean, I'm not Nick Khan, right? Like, this is probably a Nick Khan thing. So, there's that. Whatever. All right, let's go ahead and get into this show. So we kicked the show off with Nick Aldis. He said that before they get to the business at hand, he wanted to address his professional situation. He said he was involved in a physical confrontation after Night of Champions. Nick Aldis says he felt justified but he also takes responsibility. Nick Aldis says he's been reinstated after mediation. Nick Aldis says he's ready to work. He's ready to go to work, and he'll work for the fans. So then he welcomes CM Punk. CM Punk gets a massive reaction. So CM Punk said that he's missed the fans for the past 2.5 months. CM Punk said that he's been in negotiating. He's been negotiating with NBC Universal and WWE officials to bring him to SmackDown. He said last Monday night those negotiations were expedited. So CM Punk said he got the call last week. He kissed his wife, put his gear on, and drove to the arena, Allstate Arena. Then he does his usual, is it great to be alive? Instead of a Monday night, he says Friday night in Oklahoma City. So CM Punk says he plans on to defend the belt any chance he gets. CM Punk says he doesn't say he's best in the world because it's fun to be cocky, but it's because it's what drives him to prove it, and it puts a target on his back. He said he discussed with Nick Aldis earlier on that he's willing to face anyone who thinks they have what it takes to wrestle the best in the world. He says it's not hard to. He said that he's not hard to find, and he'll defend the belt for the fans with his blood, sweat, and tears. He didn't mention about what happened with him and Sami Zayn on social media. He agrees that Sami deserves a rematch. CM Punk says Gunther is also in the locker room. He says they're not strangers, and they both remember what happened the last time they wrestled. He said if he thinks he can beat him, he's ready to prove he can't. Then he also mentioned Finn Balor. He said they recently wrestled, and he'll wrestle him on neutral territory after their prior 2 matches in their home territories. So Punk continues to mention other guys such as Royce Keys, Damian Priest, and Trick Williams. Cody Rhodes shows up, gets a good reaction because it's Oklahoma and it's a casual fan base. Cody asked me, Punk, how's his eye? Punk said it looks worse than it feels, but he knows he didn't come out there to ask me about his eye. So then he mocks Cody Rhodes doing his usual, what do you want to talk about, shtick? Then Cody said that he's right. That's not why he came out here. He remembers Punk talking about his eye last time they were face-to-face in the ring. And he said CM Punk mentioned that sometimes championship opportunities fall right out of the sky. Cody said there's also championship matches that's been building for years. CM Punk said he must be talking about CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes. Punk perhaps subconsciously said that they've been avoiding this for some time, and perhaps that's why he didn't mention his name subconsciously earlier on in the promo. Punk said maybe because they're friends and he doesn't want that to affect anything. He said if they wrestled, he thought it'd be in the main event of WrestleMania, but he didn't think him and Cody could run away from each other anymore. Cody agreed. Cody said the last time they were in the ring and he was champion, he quoted, "Just say when." Cody said he didn't know if that applied now with CM Punk as champion. CM Punk said when. Cody said SummerSlam, and then they shook hands, and then Nick Aldis made it official. So this is fine. Am I mad at this? Not really. I mean, this is one of the biggest matches that you could possibly do outside of Rock and Roman. We knew we were going to get this at WrestleMania at some point, but they got to sell tickets. Again, I could see Sami Zayn being inserted, but I don't want a triple threat, but it seems like that's what they're probably going to end up doing. Sami will probably get his rematch at Saturday Night's Main Event, which actually would make the most sense, since it's going to be in Madison Square Garden. So you can do the rematch there. What do you do after that? I don't know. But I think the Triple H is probably going to end up doing, inserting Sami Zayn into the picture, right? Because if you think about it, Punk and Rhodes should actually take place at WrestleMania. And it should kind of really be non-title because they don't need the title, but they have to have it, for the title because they got to sell these fucking tickets. So, there's that. Again, this was fine. This was kind of boring, but it was okay. I mean, it is what it is. But again, I'm still under the assumption that we are going to probably get Sami Zayn involved and we are going to get a triple threat match. I'd rather them go ahead and do Sami Punk at Saturday Night's Main Event, and then you insert Sami Zayn into the match anyway after he loses, and then from there you go on. So I don't know, but I do think when all said and done, we're gonna end up having this thing be a triple threat match. Am I against that? Yes, but Punk and Cody have massive egos, and I doubt it's going to be extremely hard it's going to be extremely hard to figure out how, which one's going to go over and who's not going to go over. So, I don't know. Whatever. All right, let's go ahead and continue to move on. This leads us into Kathy Kelly. She was backstage interviewing Jade Cargill and the baddies. Jade said that she didn't dress up for nothing and that she's ready to kick Charlotte's friend around and make her life a living hell. And then both Michin and B-Fab, they touted Jade's intentions, and Jade said what happens to Alexa Bliss will be the fault of Charlotte Flair. Okay, that's fine, whatever. Moving on from that, this leads us into the first match of the night. Finn Balor defeats Tama Tonga. Who really cares? Tala Tonga got involved and everything, and so Finn Balor fought him off, and Finn Balor actually got the win, so this is fine. He wins via the coup de grace. Who gives a shit? I still think that Finn Balor needs to go after the U.S. Championship, I think. Again, if he goes after Punk for the WWE title, he's going to end up losing. So, I don't know, man. But, I don't know. Moving on. This leads us into Carmelo Hayes. He was interviewed backstage by Kathy Kelly. So Carmelo took a dig at Lil Yachty. He said that Trick has an aura, but that won't matter against someone like him who's battle tested. Carmelo said tonight is his moment to prove to Trick that when he what he already knows, which is that he's him. Okay, that's fine. Moving on from that, this leads us into R-Truth. He was paying on a bet he lost with Fraxium over Team USA losing, which was hilarious. Nathan Frazier said Americans are better at eating hot dogs. So leave the real football, the one that you kick, to the Europeans. And then Fraxium, they leave with their money. And, they're kind of dumbfounded because they hadn't ever seen that much money before. So, whatever. So, the Viking Raiders, they approach R-Truth and Damian Priest. They want to talk to Nick Aldis about a tag team title shot, whatever. Who really cares? And then Jimmy and Jacob Fatu, they show up. They ask the Raiders to leave so they can have a second with R-Truth. Jimmy asked if he's seen Solo Sikoa, and he mocked him for being short. R-Truth says his kids yeeted on themselves, so he's babysitting. Jacob Fatu glared at R-Truth and asked if he's seen Royce Keys. R-Truth says he's never seen him. Damian Priest walked up and asked Jacob Fatu what's up, and Damian Priest said he's seen Royce Keys. R-Truth shook his head, like he didn't want Priest to say that. And then R-Truth asked why he said that. And then Damian Priest said Royce Keith isn't their problem. So there was that. Whatever, that's fine. I don't care about this at all. Moving on, this leads us into Nick Aldis. He was backstage talking to Sami Zayn, revealing that Sami Zayn asked for a mental health break. He said that he's the GM and he had the authority to make that match at SummerSlam. So Gunther walks in and told Nick Aldis that it's his first day back, and he made a big mistake. He said he wanted to give Nick Aldis a chance to fix this because he deserves to be in the ring with a champion. He said it can be with Punk or Cody or both at the same time. He said that he was giving him until the end of the night to fix it. Nick Aldis said he'll take it under consideration, and then Gunther smiled and laughed and walked away. Okay, that's fine. We all know that where this is leading to anyway. So yeah, that's fine. Moving on, this leads us into bloodline stuff. So Jimmy Uso came out along with Jacob Fatu. Jimmy called out Solo, so Royce Keys showed up. Jimmy said he didn't look like Solo. Royce Keys said last week and this week Jimmy mentioned his name. He told Jimmy that his family business is starting to affect everyone there, including him. Jimmy said it's about OTC business. He said OTC isn't even there. So Jacob Fatu stepped towards Royce Keys and told him, "You and me were tight, so let's keep it like that." Then Jacob told Royce Keys that when it comes to the OTC, please don't go there. Royce Keys says it didn't have to be like that. Jimmy told Royce Keys he's not a part of the family. Royce Keys says he's made that loud and clear. He said it's about loyalty, not blood. That's what makes you family. Royce Keys said that told Jimmy that their family has brothers fighting brothers and cousins beating cousins. He said, for the last 14 years, Jacob Fatu has been his brother, and he refuses to let him fall. So Jimmy told Royce Keys to listen to him. He warned him that if he's going to cross the line, he can't come back from. And then he says, do you understand me? That being Jimmy. Royce Keys said he didn't come here to fight tonight. He sees a line on the mat, and he took a step forward, and he just crossed it. So Jimmy says they'll put the worst beating on him than the bloodline has done to anybody. So Jacob Fatu says we. He says it ain't no we here, Big Jim. This one's on you. So Jacob Fatu leaves, and then Jimmy tries to cheap shot Royce Keys, but Royce Keys clotheslined him. And then this leads us into Royce Keys versus Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso defeats Royce Keys. Solo Sikoa gets involved towards the end of the match. Jacob Fatu comes out. They have a little brawl. And Royce Keys loses to a spear by Jimmy Uso, which was pathetic. That was pathetic. Just one little measly spear puts Royce Keys straight through the mat. 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh. But whatever. It doesn't really matter. I don't care about this. Moving on from that, this leads us into CM Punk. He's backstage being interviewed by Kathy Kelly. Punk said everyone can get in line behind Cody, and then Gunther. Punk says he's been called much worse than Sammy did, especially on social media. So then CM Punk notices Johnny Gargano and Kenneth LeRae. They show up. So Johnny's still doing his lame ass crate thing he's been doing for the past 8 months now. So Punk wanted to know what was that all about. He asked if he was cursed. So Kenneth LeRae said Johnny's actually the voice of the voiceless. She said that Sammy gave real hope to the real underdogs like them. She said she hoped that he was proud of himself. So Punk addressed Johnny Gargano and called him Johnny Wrestling. He said that he should go back to who he was, or whatever this is, because this is not working. So then Finn Balor walked up to CM Punk and said he'd hoped he bumped into him. He said, "Welcome to SmackDown, champion," and that was it. Okay, that's fine. That makes sense. Moving on from that, this leads us into Fatal Attraction. They're backstage with a promo. They're saying that they're going to end the reign of Brie Bella and Paige. Come Night of Champion. I mean, my bad. Come starting next main event. I'm sorry. So I mean, that's fine. It was short and sweet. Whatever. Jade Cargill defeats Alexa Bliss. She wins via the Jaded, and then post match, the baddies beat up Alexa Bliss. They dislocated her arm via steel chair. Okay, so that's fine. Moving on from that, this leads us into Trick Williams. He's backstage looking for his title belts. Trick accused Ricky Saints of taking it. Little Yachty said he talked to the higher-ups and got him a legacy title belt, and he presented it to him. He said the plates were mounted on a fur-covered belt, which was nice. So Trick told him to get some diamonds and put it on it. And Little Yachty told him that he should give a diamond beating to that munchkin, Carmelo Hayes. That's fine there. I like that. Moving on, this leads us into the main event of the evening. Trick Williams versus Carmelo Hayes, non-title. That ends in a no contest because Baron Corbin showed up and got involved. He threw Carmelo Hayes off the ring apron. He hit Trick Williams with the end of days, and he did the same to Carmelo Hayes and stood tall with the U.S. title. So this is fine. Corbin got a really good reaction. I'm glad that he's back. He killed it in MLW. He did very well there as Bishop Dyer. And hopefully he has a really good, successful second run in WWE. So hopefully it happens. I actually do like this. I think we're gonna get a triple threat match at SummerSlam. Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes, Baron Corbin for the U.S. Championship. I think Corbin should go over, win, and have Baron Corbin and Trick Williams feud for about 2 or 3 months over the U.S. title. And you could probably put Carmelo Hayes in a tag team with Ricky Saints. I think that would be best for him going forward. So this is fine, and he got a good reaction. You know, the crowd knew who he was and everything, and he got a lot of boos, and he got a holy shit chant. So I mean, it's great. So because this show needed something like that to happen, because this was not really that much of a good show. All right, moving on from that, this leads us into the closing segment of the show, which was Gunther. So Gunther went to the ring. He asked Nick Aldis for his decision. So Nick Aldis walked out and said he's had plenty of time to think about everything that he said earlier on in the night. He said, despite everything that's transpired between them and how he talked about him in his office earlier, he's gonna give him exactly what he wants. And if he wants CM Punk and Cody, he'll give them to him at the world's most famous arena. So Nick Aldis says it's going to be Punk and Cody. They're going to team up against Gunther and a partner who also wants to get his hands on both CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, that being Sami Zayn. So this pisses off Gunther. He becomes irate. He attacks Nick Aldis. He puts him in a sleeper hold. He gives him a clothesline. Referees and officials break it up temporarily. Gunther continues to assault Nick Aldis some more and locks in another sleeper hold, and that was the show. So this is fine. Clearly, this is setting up for Nick Aldis versus Gunther at SummerSlam, which is fine. I actually do like this. This is interesting. It sucks that we're not getting Sami Zayn and Punk at Saturday Night's Main Event, which is fine, but that almost guarantees we're going to get a triple threat match at SummerSlam more than likely. So there is that. And then for whatever reason, Cody came out towards the end of the show and went off with, Cody trying to chase Gunther off. So, there's that. But all in all, SmackDown was okay. I did like Baron Corbin returning. The CM Punk Cody Rhodes promo was kind of boring, lame. And that was basically it, Everything else on the show was kind of, boring and lame. But it is what it is. But what did you guys think? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.